And we live on the Highly Devoted podcast. And today I have my favorite rapper of all time, the greatest to ever do it. I believe the first man to make me believe in rapping in my own language in such a deep manner. I have today the king, Mr. X. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, my dog. You well?
It's beautiful to have you, bro.
Thank you for having me, dog.
How's
it's dope? I like what you're doing here.
How are you feeling?
Stepping into this space. I feel good. Yeah, I'm chilled out. It's that type of day where, you know what I mean?
I'm getting beautiful energy from you, bro. Like,
yeah.
Every time that I've had like an encounter with you, it was always like chilled, you know. But the first time I actually met you, is a crazy story. The first time I met you, I actually had came from jail the day I met you. It's so crazy.
What kind of life are you living?
So on that night, it was Thursday. I was performing at Kantari, right?
Yes.
Kantari used to be popping at that time.
Yeah.
And we were performing, and I remember I was performing late. When I got there, they're like, "Nah, bro, you're performing late. You got here early, you know." So I'm like, my boys are like, let's go smoke, bro. Like, let's go smoke on the rooftop, you know, which was a bad idea.
Oh my god.
Which was a bad idea. Savaya, Zasha. And, you know, cops pulled up. And it's at a casino now.
While you guys are smoking,
while I'm smoking.
You're done?
While I'm smoking, bro. We smoking. Okay, cool. We see them. Niggas switch off the blunt. They light a cigarette, you know. But it was unresponse. So, first thing they had to do is search, you know. They searched.
So it wasn't the actual cops?
No, it was unresponse. Yes.
I'm response.
No, the story is long. So the armed response guys search and they say, "Hey, you guys are not supposed to be here." Usually people that are here are the heist guys. You know.
Shit.
So nfuna, you know, it's suspicious. But
it is a casino after all.
You know, and those were darkies, you know. So they're like, "Hey, bro, they don't want to hear it."
Yeah.
So whatever you have that is suspicious is kain, you know. That's when we take out But now I'm wearing a bomber jacket, bro. That bomber jacket has so many zippers, and I have weed.
Oh my god.
You know, so I'm taking out everything, but I forget a pocket. You know, when the white niggas come, they search. That's the cow seed. What's up? And they find the weed.
But what's that got to do with you guys being a threat for the casino?
I guess we were at a prohibited place. We weren't supposed to be
up there.
You know.
How did you guys gain access to up there?
It was open. Like one of my boys, but one of my boys were like, "Oh no, I always bring my girls here. That's why it just so happened that it was a bad day, and you know they handed me over to the cops, obviously.
So you out of the entire
because I am the one that had the weed. You know, I'm the one that had the weed. Cops pulled up. You know, I'm thinking, it's chill. I said, you call, you know.
Yeah.
A cops are like, "Bro, we can't, bro. This is a casino, dog. These people want their paperwork, dog. So valet, you know." And that's how I spent the night in jail, right?
Yeah.
But the sweet story about that is that the next day we were shooting my babo. You know. So
wow.
So we had to obviously ask like, "Yo, bro, can you please help pay,
the homie,
you know, so we can make the documents vanish, mind, you know." And we do that. They fetch
and now you're incriminating niggas with
but they won't know who.
I don't know shit about any of the names he just mentioned, by the way.
None of these guys. So after that, went to Bath, went straight to the shoot, you know. And that's the first time I actually like met you in person, you know, because when I got there, it it was the first scene. You know, we're still in I think Newtown. And then I think you arrived when we were in Bram on the rooftop.
On the rooftop,
vibe,
yes.
You know, and I'm like, damn, man. At that time, I was like, yeah, it's finally happening, bro.
You're going through a lot. It had a dope ending.
It had a dope ending.
Yeah.
You know, but ever since then, there's been so much like growth in your music from the first song that I've heard, you know, which is Hit the Buzzer.
Yeah.
You know, from Hit the Buzzer to
shout out
to now.
Yeah.
You're a whole totally different man. You know, how has the growth been, you know, from the first song to now having songs like DMD, which is like a spiritual
I feel you, my dog.
God.
Shout out.
How's the change been, you know?
The change has been crazy, my dog. It's been 11 years, I think, since Hit the Buzzer. And I've been in and out of situations.
Harsh ones.
I've been up and down. I've been making music throughout. I've been trying to broaden my appeal, trying to broaden my scope in terms of what I can do as well. I think back then, in 2010, when I made songs like Hit the Buzzer, I was still very obsessed with English rap and seeing how far I could take that.
True. Because you were full on English.
Full on English.
Yeah.
Like my 10,000 hours was spent on one language. So, and then I got a chance to obviously be a part of Cash Time Fam. That opportunity obviously came with the condition, Yoguti. Melu rapping as Gus. So then I totally dove into a different world. But it wasn't too crazy simply because obviously the language was something that I could speak.
On a daily basis. Yeah.
So now the only adjustment is mental in the sense of now you have to write these lyrics in that language, in your home language, which should be easier if you think about it. But it's about now, obviously,
probably the mind.
Exercise, just reconfiguring your mind and adjusting to that. So I think that was quite a challenge. And I think because I was also just someone who was willing to do it, it played out pretty well for me. And I think it grew me as an artist. It also just allowed my mind to expand.
It even sounded like you just were not trying in Vinek. In Vinek, it was just fitting. Like it was.
Yeah, but that wasn't how it sounded when I started. When I started, it was. You could hear Gucci. Okay, there's something different that this guy is doing. It's not sounding too natural. But I think with practice, the more times I did it, it started to feel more natural, even to me, where I didn't have to spend too much mental energy applying myself to it. Yeah. So, I ran with that. I dedicated myself wholly to it, and I think it worked out really well.
That was a crazy era for South African hip hop. I don't take it lightly. I was spectating all the way, you know. Yeah. Cause I'm a big purist, you know. Like I love hip hop with all my heart. Yeah. You know? So anyone that's involved in the culture, I'm very much in tune with them, you know. And I remember those days like it was yesterday from the Season Scoop days. Yes. You know, from how the process happened, you know. You guys had more than enough practice. You guys were in the studio 24/7. You guys were the most consistent. You guys, you guys slept at studio. You guys were basically. I can imagine the type of stories you have from that time.
Not really, dog. I mean, because when I was doing the whole Season Scoop thing, I was still balancing hip hop with school. So Bengfunda La Yuche, Auckland Park. And I was studying BCom Finance. And I was in my third year. And I obviously now am faced with having to like focus on the modules and the semester tests and the assignments, but on the flip side, there's this fascination with this rap and it bites you, like it calls your name.
True. In the sense that the lifestyle is crazy.
The lifestyle is crazy, but for me, the lifestyle wasn't a thing at that point. What was a thing was just the inspiration to be constantly working on a verse. Like, I remember distinctly, my greatest inspiration streaks, if I can call them that, would come when I sit down eating your food. As soon as I open a textbook and decide, yo, I want to actually just chow maybe a chapter or two. Fana, that's when the craziest ideas are coming to me. So now I'm faced with the textbook or the blank page. And
that's a tough decision
I end up hopping between the two, you know what I mean? But obviously then the textbook starts to suffer. And I spend less and less time focusing on the schoolwork, and I'm dedicating a lot of time and pouring that into just creating and writing verses and refining my sword and making sure that by the time I introduce myself to South Africa, I'm at a level that is competitive, but is also like actualized, like you can pick up what's distinct about the style. True,
because from get go, especially when you started doing vernac, you could I could identify this is Kid X, and there's no one else that's gonna sound like this because of the articulation, because of the delivery, it's as if you just found like a whole. It's one thing rapping in vernac, right? And then it's one thing rapping in vernac and owning it. Only a few, can do it. If I can just name a few, I can definitely your KOs, your Questas, like your MTs, guys that when they do vernac, it sounds like you only and no one else. No one else.
I totally get what you mean. I want to say this again. It wasn't always like that. I'll take you back to like a moment like when we recorded the Cash Time Fam album. So the very first session that I was present for, where I had to actually rap for a song that was on the project, was when we recorded Standi. We recorded Standi, and dog, I think I spent an hour 30 minutes in the booth relacing, and the big homies were obviously helping me figure out my tone and my projection.
Yes.
And just wanting to get me to a point where I'm hitting the sweet spot between being audible but also being in the key of the song. And
sounding like very, natural to
and sounding natural, not sounding too prepared, too overcooked. So that took about an hour 30 minutes, and I remember how frustrated I was by the time we were done with the session, and they were saying, "Yeah, boy, this is the take," and I'm like, I don't even care anymore.
You were just tired.
Yo, I can't even hear what you guys are pointing out. But the more I listened to that, then I realized what they were pushing me to actually do. They wanted me to actually project from a really different place.
Can't believe the first song was Standi, bro.
It was Standi.
That verse, that verse is insane. That's what I'm saying. Is like I feel like at that time, it was a very dope era for hip hop because we were just owning our sound.
Yes.
When I say lifestyle, I mean, not more or less the hip hop lifestyle, right? The culture that you guys have imprinted. The language, the slang,
yes, that's
the
a big
influence,
part of it.
Even now, I'm gonna say that without Cash Time, we wouldn't have been so proud to be Vinak rappers.
Yeah.
You know, because there was you guys just went out of all the people that were there. You guys just created a whole different, era for kids, especially for kids like me. Because like I said, when I started making music, same as you, it was straight
fully English. No?
And I was very stubborn about it because I probably changed like I changed after like probably my second project, you know. And with me, I've never had the privilege to, or maybe I've never given myself the privilege to cook myself well and then prepare myself and then go, now I'm going to give myself to the world. Okay. I've always been
you're cooking in front of your audience.
Yeah, I cook, give. Yeah. But story's not the same because I guess with me, it's dope to see the growth, instead of, Guazimina Pelu, yo,
that's where I started.
My first song is still on the internet. Sounds horrible. I sound terrible.
I feel you.
I mean, even the first 2 projects that I did. Yeah. When I play them, I cringe. Like, but I can hear I can hear what was, the vision,
Yes.
And now that I got it right, it's a beautiful process to do. Now I enjoy making music more because I kind of know what I'm doing.
Yes.
So in regards to that, I want to ask you about the making music part, making your current project, Farther of Zen.
Yeah.
How was the process different towards the other projects? Because obviously the last project was the double disc.
Yes.
Yeah, the double disc, which you seem like you put in, gang work because you had a double disc. That was work that you had from.
That was a different process altogether.
And then 3/4 pace. That's a whole.
Was also different. Yeah.
And, I was this week. I was listening to all 3. And from the first project, it's like you are a big giant, right? A big bear that knows that he can destroy. But then you've realized that you don't have to. You just have to be at ease with yourself because you come from aggressive to I'm finding my flaws now. I'm finding because the cure for me is similar to I wrote the song down. I couldn't forget. Overslept. The Cure and Overslept for me.
It gives you that.
They give me the same vibe, because they're all so vulnerable, because you've never been afraid to not pour yourself out and say, hey, I have flaws. I have this and this and this and this and that. So the process of making music, how has it changed from then or to now? The studio sessions, I'm sure they're different.
They are different. With a project like 3/4 pace, I was working by myself. So I'd source beats from whoever. I'd put out my email, send me beats. And then I'd run through the email, gravitate to whatever I'm messing with, and jump on it. And now, like how that project came together was I recorded the whole project myself.
Oh.
In a little bedroom studio, you know what I mean? Just feeding off the fact that you're hearing this beat now and it's speaking to you now.
So you need to record that now.
Yeah, and given the fact that it was my first commercial project as a solo, you sort of pick up certain things, like the point that I felt I had to prove at the time. That's why if you listen to it just from a voice projection or an aggression or a key at which I'm rapping, it sounds very...
Yeah, like you're going in. Like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you sound threatening.
Yeah. It definitely has that energy. And I think that was fitting simply because that's how I felt like I needed to introduce myself. And if you look at the title, 3/4 pace, for me, I understood that because I want to be in the game for a long time, I have to approach it like I'm running a marathon. So when you run a marathon, actually, my pops reminded me of this yesterday. Or I think it's something I've heard before.
Yeah.
But had forgotten. And he told me that, he's spoken to a lot of marathon runners, and they mentioned something crazy about just the psychology or the approach with regards to running a Comrades or a Two Oceans or whatever the case is. So we were speaking about soccer and just why South African players are not really are not living up to their full potential. So he said one of the people he'd spoken to told him that the approach to running a marathon, so let's say it's a 90-kilometer marathon.
Yeah.
The first 50 kilometers depend on your fitness in terms of body, physical training, how you prepared, right? Yeah. The first 50 kilometers, your body will carry you through that.
Yeah.
The next 40, it's up here.
It's a mental one.
It's about the mental preparation and the mental strength. So for me, with 3/4 pace, I knew that I'm going in there and I need to start the race with a very compelling speed.
True.
And to be able to really assert myself and make sure that however this race pans out, I'm in the leading pack. I'm up there.
Yeah, true. Because even that took time. You dropping 1/4 pace, Because I remember we were bugging you like, hey, everybody's dropping, bro.
Yeah, for a lot of reasons. But yeah, it definitely took time. But I think when it dropped, it was the perfect time for me personally. I feel like dropping it on my birthday was the best decision I could have made for that.
It's legendary.
Yeah, so I wanted to start off, obviously, with a project like that, and to really just announce myself. Because when you start strong, that's half the race already.
That's half the... Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Ooh.
So I did that, and a lot of that process was me locked up with my own thoughts, with the beats, really expressing myself. And then we worked on the next body of work, 3/4 pace, Thank the King, which was a totally different process.
True, I can imagine with that one there was a lot going on.
There was a lot. Gakulu mfana. Like, there'd be people in the sessions. Firstly, for me now, that is something that when I'm working on my stuff, I don't normally have.
True.
It's just me.
It's always you.
And the beat. So with this time around, I've got the actual producer in the session.
I was about to say, Vele, it was a whole lot. You have the producer and the people's people.
And the peoples who just barge in at any time. So that became a different experience. But at the same time, I realized that, okay, this is the journey. I can't fight it. There's certain elements beyond my control where I am right now. So I guess that project was made with a lot more commentary.
Yes.
From people who were there just observing that.
So it was a baby that you raised with, like, with just people saying, I'm
people coming in. Yeah, you know what I mean?
So that's
bro.
I totally get that.
So, and obviously with the new body of work, Farther of Zen, the initial process when I started, it was myself, Lunatic, Cash, Bling, Sbuda, SR.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there were like 5 of us who were locked in, just working on some music. But that was like for, I guess, we worked on about 10 tracks, but only 3 of those songs actually made it to the final body of work because I carried on making more music straight after that. But now the new music was made just in my own space, back to like how I was working with 3/4
So the
pace.
first three were like a foundation that you needed to find in order to.
Pretty much, yes. Yeah.
After that, you kind of knew which direction you were taking now. You know?
Yeah. I think I'd found a swing and just a feel and what I wanted to capture after I'd worked on the initial batch of tracks. And obviously I had to now pick to say, out of these 10, which songs represent the direction that I want to take it in.
True.
Yeah.
I with the process of making music, I don't do a lot of features, you know. I'm like 3 projects deep and I probably have like 4 features, you know.
Yeah.
And 2 are probably vocalists, you know. And
what's the reason behind that?
Because I love making music with people that I believe already have found themselves, you know. So they're gonna deliver what they want to deliver, you know. And they know themselves, you know. It's way different talking. It's like I see music as conversation to me, you know.
Yes.
I'd rather conversate with people that are gonna give me something, you know, and give me goosebumps in your voice, bro. You know.
So let me put this to you. Do you not feel like you could conversate with people that you could give something to?
Yes, 100%. I do give away a lot of features, you know.
Oh, so you do that on their songs,
I do work with people. You
okay.
know, I 100%, you know, work
just
with
not
people.
on your songs. You'd rather do that with whoever's song.
Yes.
I get you.
And I don't think I wouldn't mind working with people on my projects, you know.
Yeah.
Like I said, it just should be fitting. And maybe with my current process, because my studio is far, you know, and can't be inviting people to, you know, my studio. So that's also another thing. So my process is kind of crazy. But the features that I've done they make perfect sense. Like perfect sense, you know. And I feel like obviously when I get my creative juices flowing, when I have the resources, it's much more easier to call you and say, hey man, pull up to the crib.
Yeah.
I got something. You know, it's easy for this and that and the third, you know. For now it's a little bit different when it comes to resource.
Yeah.
But with features, I see now, even now the features that you have, they're more musical. You know, like your yes, Solo's a rapper, or he's changed his name now. Please.
Solo Nsizwa Tim Cool. Yeah.
He changed his name now. So with him, that's a spoken poetry. That verse there is like heartfelt,
spoken word.
You know?
Yeah, cool.
And then you have the vocalists. You know, your Givens, your the other ones, and even like songs like DMD. They give me like Mbongeni Ngema vibes, you know, like they just reek of South African organic music. Yeah. You know, the guitars.
Yes.
You know, the placement. You know, so how did you work out the features? How did you know that, okay, cool, this person is the one that I want on this? Because like I said, with me it's very hard, you know, to kind of
figure out what you want
with this shit.
Yeah.
Is he gonna sound dope, or is he gonna? Because even with me and you, when we tried to work, that was my biggest struggle. Is like, I send it, and you don't like it. But if we were at the studio together, you were gonna be able to say, Poison, change this, and do this, change this. You know. So how was the features on the thingy?
Yeah, for me now with features, I normally look for someone who would give me. There's always that voice in the back of your head, like be it on a very just vague level of just you can hear like airy things.
I totally
or
understand.
If you can hear like aggressive energy or whatever the case is. So for me with features, I'll normally do what I do on the song, and then I'll look at what else is missing, like what texture could complement what I've done, and then I'll go out and look for that specific artist. But with the features on the album, it happened quite differently for each song. If you look at a song like DMD, first and foremost, I was in studio with Given. He'd obviously heard a lot of my music that I had on the project, and we identified the fact that we need to work on something. So he started making a beat. I think we'd spoken about the direction or the type of song that we wanted to capture. So he started making a beat. Made the beat. I was penning the hook. I penned the hook.
Oh, which is incredible, bro.
Shout out, bro.
Okay, carry on.
Yeah,
I'll talk
so
about that song.
I penned the hook, and then I laced the hook. I think we had like a limited time session type of thing.
At the studio.
Yeah. We had a limited time, so close to the end of the session, this is when now I eventually cracked the hook. So now I'm putting it down quickly just before our time is up. So I lace it, and then we both realized that this is quite something.
Yeah.
So anyway, he bounces me that record with just the hook, and I take it home, and I obviously now want to work on the rest of the song. And over the phone, we're speaking about just who would sound dope. So he suggests, I know a couple of names were thrown around, but eventually we decided on getting Untunja for that. Oof. And then we set up another follow-up session. She came in. Oof. We were both in the studio working on our verses, and as soon as we were done, we put those down. So the verses
you recorded together?
Yes.
And her part?
Yeah. So we were in studio together for the verses, and obviously while we're doing that, Given is also enhancing the production.
I can imagine the energy.
Bro, so it's crazy, man. Like even if you listen to that skit in the song, man, where it sounds like there's activity, that sound design, Fana, is Given.
Oh man.
Like he had the idea and he was like, okay, let's create the environment of that chaos in that moment where the groom is at the gate. You can hear the bride stressing about what's happening in where's my dress, how are we, you know what I mean?
Just feel from the first second, from the you can just feel that this song is a spiritual something. So I love that song, even with the I wanted to talk about like the ad-libs. No, the baritone. That's what I'm saying. It gives me forgetting game of vibes. It's like how did this nigga come for me it seems like you worked on it from T to T. I
did. I'll tell you why. So there's a song I did with Ukiven, his song, featuring myself and Professor. It's a song called Ngibonan.
It's out now. No, it's not.
It's out. It's a recently out song. Mm-hmm. So I think that was my first time working with him, and I realized that this guy, just musically, he's on a different level. So with this project, I brought him in to say, bro, I need you in the studio when we wrapping things up, just to musically direct some of the ideas that I have, and to help me enhance certain things, because you are very melodic, and in terms of stacking vocals and adding the right octaves and so forth, he's got that down to a key. Oof. So he definitely was very instrumental in just those type of things. So I think by the time we were doing that song, for me, I'd already learned a lot of the tricks that I've experienced with him. So naturally, I just did my thing.
And obviously the rapping is something that is undeniable. So how do you feel about rap now? Especially in South Africa. With all this controversy that's going on. I know for sure, like I said, because I'm a purist, hip hop is to me not really just rap. You know, hip hop for me is my ability to bring my music to life, my art to life. You know.
Yeah.
I love making music with all my heart. You know, so yes, I would dabble in other genres because I'm a musician and I'd be good at it. I kill it, you know. I know for sure that give me anything, I knock it out the park. There's just something about me being poetic. There's just something about me putting together songs in my favorite genre, you know.
I feel
so
you.
I see now with the project now that you did, it's not your typical hip hop.
Yes.
You know, some would say that it's a more music, like it's music. It's just a rapper rapping on on musical beats.
Yes.
You know, because the same beats that you have would work for Shri, would work for, you know, an artist that is not of rap,
of that genre.
You know? Only obviously the obvious, you know, the bouncy stuff, you know, can work. So with rap, with the state of rap, how do you feel about it? Are you still excited to rap, you know, like, or has it like been like a more musical thing now? Like now you just enjoy making music instead of rap.
For me, when I got introduced to music, I first fell in love with Kwaito. And then I fell in love with R&B.
I can hear it in the singing all the time.
You know what I mean? And then I fell in love with hip-hop somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
So when I got to a point where I was now making my music, I think the toughest discipline to master, or the toughest genre that required more attention than any other, was hip-hop.
That's true.
And naturally, I spent a lot more attention on it. But my truth is the fact that I'm not just a hip-hop artist. I'm someone who loves other genres. So naturally, because I'm able to now create, and I've mastered a genre that is possibly more difficult than the other two. For me, it
becomes easy. Not easy,
but it becomes a thing of, I will still do this one, but these are genres that I really love. And in terms of just expressing myself, I don't want to limit myself to only doing it through hip-hop. So that's why the project sounds the way it does. Simply because I realize that if I confine myself to strictly hip-hop, I'm not giving the best of me, or I'm not giving my all. I'm not giving my full expression.
I agree.
Because there's other shades of me, there's other sides of me that I feel like can be expressed through other genres. So
yeah, one would argue I also don't do hip-hop, you know.
Yeah.
Because I know, because I was watching your interviews and I was watching the other podcasts, and I know that you don't really dabble into, you know, other people's music, right? Well, one thing that I would like highlight you on like my current project, which is Highly Devoted, right?
Yeah.
I took the musical side of myself and stretched it, you know, to its highest self, you know, because I realized my mom is my biggest fan, right?
That's dope.
My mom is always asking me for my lyrics.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, oh damn, man, I realize there's things that I say that she can't really connect with at times, you know. So if I can just make it easy, yeah, I can still say there's a million ways to skin a cat, you know.
Yes.
So whatever I'm doing, if I can just make it easier for my mom to listen to, then it's gonna be easier for my grand to listen to. Then it's easier for you know, other people to listen to, you know.
Yeah.
So now I've taken a whole different direction. That's why I was asking about rap and hip hop, you know, because right now I'm so in love with making music.
Yeah.
I love rap. But the process of making something that is out of my comfort zone, it's like I know I can rap.
Yeah.
But can I make a record?
Yes.
You know, which is something that, you know, you have proved on so many levels at the highest level, you know, repetitively, you know, and I commend you for that, because I know for sure that this industry is like convincing people that to listen to your music.
Yes.
That is the hardest thing one person can do, you know. We are no different than the vendors out here, you know. We just saying, guys, we selling the same thing. Sonke things amabanana ne. Mara swakhulisa ngendlela ehlukile. You get yours from this supplier, you get, you know, but at the end of the day we're selling bananas, and some people are going to like your bananas, some people are going to, you know, gravitate towards this guy's bananas, you know. So
bananas example is wild. But anyway.
You know. So yeah, so I thank you so much, bro, for pulling up. It's the conversation is I wish we could stretch it more. You know, there's a lot I would love to chop with you. Yeah. But this is as far as we can go, and I really, really appreciate you for pulling through. I wish you all the best, bro. I wish you all the best. What can we expect now that you know you dropped the project? I know visuals maybe, you know, and I know you're doing like this media run, so I know I'm gonna be seeing you a lot on my social media, because I don't usually see you. You know, you're not a fan of social media.
Yeah, but speaking of that, I realized this morning that how I need to approach social media is gonna be quite different from now on.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a permanent resident on social media. Like I wanna come in when I'm actually pushing something. So I'm gonna drop you the link, and then I'm out, dog.
True.
Because it can be a very consuming space. And for me right now, I think obviously being a parent, I need to focus on just being present and not always being a slave to the device, the mobile devices. So I want to move different, so I'm realigning a couple of things in my space. But what you can expect is obviously more visuals. You can expect more shows. We're planning some shows specifically for just the KidX experience. And the type of music that I put out. If you listen to this project, it's not the traditional music where, even though there's songs that are like you can find me at at the festival, you know what I mean? But there's songs that are also not for that space. There's songs where I need to go sit lapa at the garden at Jamestown Lake
jazz festival time,
and ask people to bring their camp masters, and we jamming there. You get me? So that's the type of vibe that I'm leaning towards now, and I realize that it's gonna stretch me a lot, and it needs my full attention. So
you're a hot man now, dog. Like you're a hot man, fully. I know, but 5 years ago you'd say, don't call me a hot man.
I can't run away from it. It is what it is.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. I wish you all the best.
By
the time this podcast is out,
yes,
I'm gonna play you something now. By the time this podcast is out, we would have had one. Trust. We would have had one.
Thank you for having me, dog. Shout out for your podcast journey as well. It's dope. It's inspiring to see.
No, it's just inspired by the project. You know, I just want to, you know, to raise awareness on the project, and also get one of my favorite people, you know, so we can share conversation, you know, because it's not, we don't usually meet in these type of spaces. We meet Espanin, you know, you know.
So, and the convos obviously revolve around.
I
feel you.
So it was dope to have you here. I wish you so much, bro. You are. I can't put it in words how much of an inspiration you are to me, and how much of a game changer you are. You know,
feel you.
It's massive.
If I wore my shades, I'd be shedding a tear now. I appreciate that, my doggy. Bless up.
Bless. And yeah, let me pay my rent. I'm the guys told me to give you a sneaker, so
shout out.
Via sneakers are available. They're out there. You know, do the most. Obviously everything will be in the description. And yeah, shout out to everyone, man. We live. Shout out Flatline Radio. Shout out Casting Cafe. We live.
Danko.